Dinara Mubinovna Safina, born April 27, 1986 in Moscow, is a former world number 1 Russian professional tennis player. Safina was runner-up in singles at the 2008 French Open, 2009 Australian Open, and the 2009 French Open, falling to Ana Ivanovic, Serena Williams, and Svetlana Kuznetsova, respectively. She has had success at Grand Slam events in women's doubles by winning the 2007 US Open with Nathalie Dechy. She also won the Olympic silver medal in women's singles at the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. Safina retired in 2014 after a lengthy absence from the tour since 2011 due to an ongoing back injury. She is the younger sister of former world number 1 men's player Dinara Safina. The brother-sister pair are the first to both achieve number 1 rankings. Biography. Early life. Safina was born in Moscow, Russia to ethnic Tatar parents. Her mother, Rosa Islanova, was her trainer when she was younger, while her father is director of the Spartak Tennis Club in Moscow. Her brother Marat is a former world number 1 on the ATP Tour. Speaking of growing up in such a successful tennis family, Safina stated, "Being the little sister in such a big tennis family is not an easy situation. Maybe that's why it took me longer to develop. My father is very competitive, but my parents didn't put pressure on me. I wanted to find my identity. I wanted to be something by myself, like being a big player by myself. So at the beginning I was putting too much pressure on myself. But then gradually I found myself, and I learned how to do better with that situation." At age 8, Safina and her family moved to Valencia, Spain, and as a result Safina speaks fluent Spanish as well as Russian and English. Previously, Safina was coached by Glenn Sharp, former coach of Anna Shakhvtadze and Nadia Petrova, and Angstrom 1/2 Eljko Krajan, who worked with her during her rise to number 1 in 2009. From May 2010, she began working with Gasta Denopoulos. Their partnership ended after several months, and since February 2011 she had been working with Davide Sanguinetti. Safina's idols growing up was Steffi Graf, Martina Hingis and Lindsay Davenport. More recently, she has stated that she idolizes Rafael Nadal. Playing style. Safina is an aggressive baseliner who likes to take the ball on the rise with full power on every shot. Her sharp angled forehand can force a return that she can hit with a big and heavy forehand for a winner. Her backhand can be flat, heavy, and devastating. She boasts a powerful first serve that sometimes lacks consistency in tight moments. Her primary weakness is her mental toughness, particularly in Grand Slam finals, although it has improved. Her emotions on court can hurt her game. A tenacious fighter, Safina made several notable comebacks, including at the 2008 French Open, down 6-7, 2-5 against Maria Sharapova. She fought off match point and won 6-7, 7-6, 6-2. She was also regarded as one of the most healthy and fit players on tour. Though an adequate lateral mover, she is less nimble moving forward and tends to avoid net play. Tennis career. 2002-04, Safina made her debut in the main draw of a WTA Tour tournament in May 2002, on clay at Estoril, where she lost in the semi-finals. She won her first title of her career in Sopot, defeating 2 seeds including world number 24 Patti Schneider en route to the final, which she won when opponent Henrietta Nagyova retired during the second set. In doing so, she became the youngest tour champion in 4 years and the first qualified to win a title in 3 years. She entered the top 100 on the world rankings as a result of this win. Later that year, Safina made her debut at a Grand Slam, losing in the second round of the US Open to top seed and eventual champion Serena Williams. In October, in Moscow, she defeated a top 20 player for the first time, world number 14 Silvia Farina. She finished the season as world number 68. Safina won her second title over Katerina Spotnik at Palermo in July 2003. She lost in the first round in her debuts at the Australian Open, French Open and Wimbledon, although she reached a fourth round at the US Open before losing to second seed and eventual champion Justine Henin. She also made the quarter-finals in Doha, Sopot and Shanghai. She beat world number 11 Magdalena Malieva in Moscow, her best win at that point. She finished the season as world number 54. At the 2004 Australian Open, Safina defeated a seed at a Grand Slam for the first time, upsetting 27th seed Amanda Kuezza in the second round before losing to second seed Kim Clijsters in the third round. However, she failed to make an impact at any of the other Grand Slams, losing in the second round of the French Open and the first round of both Wimbledon and the US Open, although she pushed eventual runner-up Elena Dementyeva to 3 sets in the latter. She made the third final of her career and first off of clay in October at Luxembourg, losing to Alicia Molik. She finished the season as world number 44, her first time finishing in the world's top 50. 2005 a Euro 07, Safina continued to climb the rankings in 2005. At the Australian Open, she lost in the second round to Arma copyright Lie Mauresmo. However, she defeated Mauresmo in the final in Paris 3 weeks later, in order to win the third title of her career. This marked her first win over a player ranked in the top 5. Following her win, Safina remarked, "You can't imagine how happy I am. I can't find words to explain how I feel right now. It's by far the best day of my career. I played well, took my chances and beat a top 5 player. It's just too much in one day." Safina won her second title of 2005 in May at Prague, defeating Zuzana Ondra-Sokurova in the final. However, she then lost in the first round of the French Open to Virginie Razzano. She won a match at Wimbledon for the first time, eventually losing in the third round to top seed Lindsay Davenport. After losing in the first round of the US Open to Maria Elena Cameron, Safina made 3 semi-finals in the fall: a Euro in Luxembourg, the Tirreno Moscow and Hasselt. In Moscow, she defeated world number 1 Maria Sharapova in the quarter-finals, her first victory over a number 1 player. She also played a key role in Russia's victory against France in the Fed Cup, partnering Elena Dementyeva to win the doubles rubber. Speaking in 2008, Safina stated, "That was a great experience in my life. It also boosted my confidence because I showed I could play well even with the French crowd against me." Safina finished the year ranked world number 20, by far her highest finish. Safina started 2006 by losing in the second round of the Australian Open to Sofia Lovitzin. The highlight of the remainder of the spring hardcourt season was a run to the quarter-finals in Indian Wells, defeating 5th seed Anastasia Miskina before losing to Martina Hingis. On clay, Safina reached her first final at a Tier tournament in Rome, defeating top 10 players Kim Clijsters, Elena Dementyeva, and Svetlana Kuznetsova, before being defeated by Hingis. At the French Open, Safina made the quarter-finals at a Grand Slam for the first time in her career. In the fourth round, she defeated fourth-seeded Maria Sharapova. In the third set, she trailed 1 a Euro 5 and was down a match point but won after almost 2.5 hours of play. She went on to lose to Kuznetsova in the next round. To kick off the grass court season, she reached her first grass court final at Herzogenbosch, losing to Michaela Krajicek. She then lost in the third round of Wimbledon, losing to Ana Ivanovic. The highlight of Safina's summer hardcourt season was a run to the semi-finals of the Tirreno Montreal, before ultimately losing to Ana Ivanovic. During the US Open, she again reached a Grand Slam quarter-final, this time losing to top seed Arma copyright Lie Mauresmo. She met with greater success in doubles, where she reached a final with partner Katerina Spotnik. Safina reached the top 10 on the singles rankings for the first time in the fall. She finished the season world number 11. Safina won her first tournament of 2007, in Gold Coast, defeating Martina Hingis in the final. Following the match, Hingis praised Safina, saying that everyone should watch her because she's gonna be maybe even better than her brother, and that she is more will and desire than Safin. She also won the doubles title at the tournament. She then lost in the third round of the Australian Open to Li Na. Safina reached her second final of the year at the TRI Charleston in April, after retirements from Tatiana Golovin and Vera Zvonova in the quarter-finals and semi-finals respectively. In the final, she lost to Jelena Jankovic. After reaching the quarter-finals at both Berlin and Rome, Safina lost to Serena Williams in the fourth round of the French Open. During May, she moved up to world number 9, the highest ranking of her career at the time. On grass, Safina lost in 3 sets to Jankovic in the semi-final of Herzogenaurach, having had a match point in the tiebreaker. Following that loss, she was upset by Akiko Morigami in the second round of Wimbledon. Safina lost in the fourth round of the US Open to world number 1 and eventual champion Justine Henin. At the tournament, she partnered Nathalie Dechy to win the women's doubles title, her first Grand Slam title. In October, Safina achieved only her second win over a player ranked in the top 10 that season, defeating world number 6 Yana Shakvtates en route to the semi-finals of Moscow. She finished the season as world number 16. 2008 Euro 09, Safina started 2008 poorly, winning just 11 of her first 21 matches. Her best result in singles play during this period was a run to the quarter-finals of Miami, defeating Lindsay Davenport in the fourth round. Safina has admitted that she was considering quitting tennis during this period. Meanwhile, she won doubles titles in Gold Coast, partnering Agnes Sarve, and in Indian Wells, partnering Elena Vesnina. In May, at the clay court event in Berlin, Safina defeated world number 1 Justine Henin in the third round. Safina went on to defeat Serena Williams for the first time in the quarter-finals, ending Williams's 17-match winning streak. She then defeated Elena Dementyeva in the final to win the first TRI title of her career. Safina retrospectively called the tournament the key to her tennis life. As the 13th seed of the French Open, Safina defeated new world number 1 Maria Sharapova, having saved a match point. In the quarter-finals, Safina defeated Dementyeva, after saving match points again. Then, in her first Grand Slam semi-final, Safina defeated Svetlana Kuznetsova, before losing to Ana Ivanovic in the final. Her results at this tournament caused her ranking to rise to world number 9. On grass, Safina lost in the final of Herzogenaurach to Tamarine Tanasugan. At Wimbledon, Safina lost in the third round to Israeli Sharapova. At Los Angeles in July, Safina defeated top-seeded Jelena Jankovic in the semi-finals before claiming her second title of the year by defeating Flavia Pennetta in the final. The following week, Safina won the TRI Montreal, defeating Dominika Cibulkova in the final. This marked the first time in her career that she had won titles at back-to-back tournaments, and it moved her up to world number 6, her highest career ranking at the time. She also won the US Open Series as a result of this victory. Representing Russia at the Beijing Olympics, Safina defeated world number 1 Jelena Jankovic in the quarter-finals in 3 sets, making her the first player in the history of the WTA Tour to defeat 3 different reigning world number 1 players in the same year. In the semi-finals, she defeated Li Na in straight sets. In the gold medal match, Safina lost to Dementyeva in 3 sets while serving 17 double faults. She went into the US Open as one of 5 women who could have taken the world number 1 ranking, depending on their results in this tournament. However, she lost in the semi-finals to the eventual champion Serena Williams. After this tournament, her ranking rose to a career high of world number 5. Safina won her 3rd TRI title of the year and 4th title overall in Tokyo in September, defeating Kuznetsova in the final. This win moved her ranking to a new career high of world number 3, before later briefly becoming the world number 2 in October. She qualified for the year-ending WTA Tour Championships for the first time in her career, but she lost all 3 of her round-robin matches. She finished the year ranked world number 3, the first time she had finished a year in the world's top 10. Safina began 2009 by representing Russia with her brother Marat Safin in the Hopman Cup. They lost to the Slovakian team in the final. Safina played her first WTA Tour tournament of the season in Sydney, where she lost in the final to Elena Dementyeva. At the Australian Open, Safina defeated Eliza Copyright Cornet in the fourth round. Safina defeated the Australian wildcard entry Jelena Dokia in the quarter-finals and Vera Zvonova in the semi-finals to reach the second Grand Slam final of her career. She lost to Serena Williams in the final in 59 minutes. After losing early in Dubai to Virginia Razzano, Safina went on to the Indian Wells tournament, where she reached the quarter-finals before losing to Victoria Azarenka. In Miami, Safina lost in the third round to Australia's Samantha Stosur. On April 20, Safina became the 19th player, and second Russian after Maria Sharapova, to be ranked world number 1 by the WTA Tour. Safina and her brother Marat Safin are the first ever brother-sister world number 1 pair, with Safin having been ranked world number 1 by the ATP earlier in his career. Safina started the clay season with fresh determination to win a Grand Slam. Playing in her first tournament as the world number 1, Safina lost in the final of the indoor clay court event in Stuttgart to Svetlana Kuznetsova. The following week in Rome, Safina defeated Venus Williams in the semi-finals, and Kuznetsova in the final. Safina then advanced to the final at the Madrid event, where she defeated Caroline Wozniacki to win her second consecutive title. As the top seed of the French Open, Safina dropped only 5 games in advancing to the quarter-finals. She eventually advanced to her third Grand Slam final and second straight French Open final, where she lost to Kuznetsova in straight sets. At Wimbledon, Safina advanced to the fourth round for the first time, where she defeated 2006 champion Arma Copyright Lie Morismo. She went on to reach the semi-finals before losing to Venus Williams. Her performance invoked criticism about her status as the number 1 player, in particular from the new Wimbledon champion and world number 2, Serena Williams, who openly mocked her credibility as the top player. After winning a small tournament in Port Toro with 3/4, Safina failed to defend her title in Los Angeles. Despite this, she became the first player to qualify for the WTA Tour Championships. The following week in Cincinnati, Safina advanced to her 8th final of the season, losing to former world number 1 Jelena Jankovic. Safina was the top seed at the 2009 U.S. Open, but lost in the third round to Petra Kvitova. Following back-to-back second-round losses in Tokyo and Beijing, Safina lost the number 1 rank to Serena Williams. She regained it 2 weeks later on October 26. At the WTA Tour Championships, she had a chance to end the season as number 1 for the first time in her career, but retired due to a back injury in her first round-robin match, which she claimed had been bothering her for 3 months. 2010. Safina started 2010 by losing in the quarter-finals to Elena Dementyeva in Sydney. At the Australian Open, she reached a fourth round where she retired with a back injury, which also forced her to withdraw from tournaments in Dubai, Indian Wells, and Miami. In her return to competitive tennis for the clay season, Safina lost in the quarter-finals of Stuttgart to Sharapova. She struggled through the rest of the clay season, losing her opening matches in Rome, Madrid and the French Open, causing her ranking to drop to number 20. She later withdrew from Wimbledon after being dealt her 5th straight loss at a warm-up tournament in Herzogenaurach. She began the U.S. Open Series at the 2010 Bank of the West Classic in Stanford, California, where Safina was given a wild card. She played veteran Kimiko Date-Crum in the first round. Safina lost in 3 sets. In the first round of the 2010 Mercury Insurance Open in San Diego, California, Safina ended her 6-match losing streak when she defeated Ilona Bondarenko in the first round. She then lost to Anska Radwanska in the second round. Safina's next tournament was at the Western and Southern Financial Group Masters and Women's Open in Cincinnati, Ohio. In the second round, she lost to Kim Clijsters. Due to her inability to defend her points from 2009, she dropped from world number 35 to world number 70. At the Rogers Cup she scored wins over world number 36 Andrea Petkovic and world number 21 Nadia Petrova to reach the third round, where she lost to 6th seed Francesca Iavone. Safina defeated Ivanovic in the first round of the 2010 Pilot Pen Tennis in New Haven, but lost to Maria Kirilenko in the quarter-finals. At the 2010 US Open, Safina was eliminated in the first round by Daniela Hantuchova. Safina accepted a wildcard from the Hansol Korea Open, where she defeated qualifier Simona Halep in the first round. She also won against Maria Kirilenko in straight sets. She lost to Klara Zakopalova in the quarter-finals. Safina was unseeded coming into the Tatar Pan Pacific Open in Tokyo, where she faced Julia Goerges of Germany in the first round, but lost in 3 sets. At the China Open, Safina lost to Vera Zvonova in the first round. 2011, at the 2011 ASB Classic in Auckland, New Zealand, Safina was defeated by number 2 seed Janina Wickmeyer in the first round. In the 2011 Moorilla Hobart International, facing Marion Bartoli in the first round, she lost again in 2 sets. At the Australian Open, she was defeated by Kim Clijsters in the first round with a double bagel. At the 2011 Malaysian Open, Dinara was able to end her 6-match losing streak with her first win since September 2010, defeating Han Xingyun. Then she lost against Safarova. Safina next competed at BNP Paribas Open, where she reached a 4th round, including wins over 26th seed Daniela Hantuchova and world number 4 Samantha Stosur. Her run came to an end against Maria Sharapova in the 4th round. Safina announced she would not compete for the rest of 2011 because of a persistent back injury. Safina allegedly retired from professional tennis, as announced by her brother Marat Safin. On October 7, 2011, Dinara has decided to end her career, Safin said. She has taken the decision relatively well. She considers it just to be the end of a period in her life. Safin said the main reason for his 25-year-old sister's retirement was a chronic back injury. Everything is all right with her health. She feels good in everyday life, but she simply can't play tennis professionally anymore. However, Dinara Safina herself later that day issued a Twitter message, where she said she had not made any retirement decision yet, and that she needed more time to decide. 2012, Dinara announced on June 12, 2012 that she requested wildcards for the 2012 Bank of the West Classic in Stanford, the 2012 Montreal Open, the 2012 Cincinnati Open and the 2012 US Open. In a later interview, Safina announced that she withdrew the requests for wild-card entries for all tournaments for 2012. Rivalries: Safina vs Kuznetsova. Safina and fellow Russian Svetlana Kuznetsova have met 14 times, with Safina leading their head-to-head 8-6. Kuznetsova leads their rivalry on clay courts but trails their rivalry on hard courts. The pair have never met on grass. Their last meeting was at the 2009 French Open final with Kuznetsova winning 6-4, 6-2. Safina vs Dementyeva. Safina and Dementyeva have been playing each other since 2003, 4 times on clay, 5 times on hard and 1 on grass and carpet. Their series ended 6-5 in Dementyeva's favor. Their most significant meeting was at the final of the 2008 Beijing Summer Olympics, which Dementyeva won in 3 sets and a gold medal for Russia. When they met at the 2008 French Open quarter-final, Safina was down a set and was down 2-5 after saving match point. She then went on to win the match with a score of 4-6, 7-6, 5, 6-0. Singles performance timeline: Key 1 tournament. Or reached final. Semi-final. Quarter-final. Round 4, 3, 2, 1. Competed at a round-robin stage. Lost in qualification round. Absent from tournament event. Played in a Davis Cup zonal group or playoff. Won a bronze, silver or gold medal at the Olympics. A downgraded Masters Series/1000 tournament. Or a tournament that was not held in a given year. To avoid confusion and double counting, these charts are updated either at the conclusion of a tournament, or when the player's participation in the tournament has ended. To prevent confusion and double counting, information in this table is updated only once a tournament when the player's participation in the tournament is concluded. This table is current through the 2011 Wimbledon Championships, which began June 20, 2011. Doubles performance timeline, career statistics. References. External links. Official website, Dinara Safina on Twitter, Dinara Safina at the Women's Tennis Association, Dinara Safina at the International Tennis Federation, Dinara Safina at the International Tennis Federation Junior Profile, Dinara Safina at the Fed Cup, Dinara Safina at the Internet Movie Database.